Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The month of Ramadan marked the best and most precious gift ever given to the entire humanity. The words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the final revelation that will never be changed, that will never be distorted, that will be maintained, kept and protected for all generations to come until the end of time, so that they can access the authentic and sincere connection with their Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it will be the only last hope for them to connect to the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Qur'an, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan in which the Qur'an was revealed. Allah chose the month of Ramadan to give this wonderful gift to humanity. And this shows there is something so special about the month of Ramadan. When we look at the world around us, winter, there is plenty of rain and snow. And then we come to spring and there's sunshine and the earth receives more air and starts to become fertile. So that the seeds start to grow and they end up growing and then they can be harvested so that we can benefit. The same analogy can be applied to our hearts because there is the seed of faith and fitrah in our hearts. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to go through different phases in our lives, ups and downs, through different experiences in life. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to go through different spiritual times throughout the year. And Ramadan is the time, special time for this seed in our hearts, for our faith to grow, for our devotion to move on to the next level, for our hearts to flourish and our souls and spirits to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the month of Ramadan. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس. Guidance for humanity. Guidance revives our spirits and our souls and connects us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ramadan is the time. And in order for seeds to grow, they need a different environment. They need some sort of a change in the environment that will trigger the growth and bring them back to life, that will revive them, that will give them the energy and the power to be able to grow. So let's use the month of Ramadan to trigger the growth of our seed in our hearts and connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes we feel our hearts are dead and our souls are suffocated. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends a new environment, a spiritual environment, and that's the month of Ramadan. And it's not just the 29 or 30 days on the calendar. Something happens in the universe during the month of Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ told us about this because we Muslims believe in the world of the seen and the world of the unseen. We know that there is more than the eye can see. There is more to reality than we can perceive. There is a bigger context to reality, and it has an impact on us. The Prophet ﷺ said, when it's the month of Ramadan, the very first night of Ramadan, the gates of paradise are open. They are wide open. The gates of hellfire are locked and shut down, and the devils are chained and shackled. And this is the unseen reality. This is the real change in the universe within the month of Ramadan. We can't see it with our eyes because we can't see paradise now. We can't see the hellfire right now with our eyes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a faculty that feels this, that recognizes this, that knows this. Our hearts know this. Our hearts feel this. Only if we pay attention to our hearts. But if we are drawn into and suckled into this worldly life, we have already turned out our hearts. They are tuned out. We don't know what our souls are going through. We can't feel it. When our hearts are dead, our souls are suffocated. We don't feel the spiritual experience of Ramadan. Ramadan is a completely different environment. The whole world changes by the first night of Ramadan. And if we are too attached to this world, we won't feel it. But if we pay attention to our hearts will recognize this. And that's why people of devotion will usually feel it in the month of Ramadan. You feel that fasting is easier, praying is easier. You find your heart draws you to the Qur'an. You want to remember Allah. You want to make zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A level of energy we don't usually have. Why do we have this extra energy in the month of Ramadan? When listening to the Qur'an, you find yourself reflecting, absorbing. Some new insights are arriving, making space for themselves in our hearts. We start to have more of a spiritual experience. Why? It's the month of Ramadan. It's a different season. It's a different context, different environment. Allah makes it easier for the seed of Iman to grow in our hearts. And it's our job as farmers of this seed. We are supposed to take care of it. We are supposed to grow it. We are supposed to do our part in this whole situation. We are meant to seize the month of Ramadan, and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us against people who failed to seize it. It's such a special time. The bar has been brought down, so it's easy for us to reach a higher level of spirituality and devotion and sincerity with a minimal effort. And all we have to do is extend our hands and grab it. It's available and reveals itself to us. Ramadan is a very special time. So it's not just 30 days on the calendar. The world changes, just like the seasons change from one to another. So this is a new season, and we are meant to use it and benefit from it. And we should not make it hard for ourselves. We need to focus and put our heart into it. Let's use our time and energy wisely. What really matters with Allah is your devotion, the level of your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if your focus is on external actions, you are indeed offering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cheap labor that isn't worth much, because it has no spirit and no soul to it. Let's seize this opportunity and make this success together. Here at Masjid Bilal, we shall be staying connected to the blessed Qur'an throughout the month of Ramadan. We are bringing to you our Qur'an on Facebook Live. This will be delivered by our Sheikh Asrarul Haq Awaisi. They are the Khatib at Jamia Masjid Bilal. We will also have the recitation of the Qur'an throughout the month of Ramadan. The recitation that would have normally been recited in the Taraweeh prayer will be recited by the Hufaz of Masjid Bilal, and then shall be uploaded to Facebook and our YouTube channel for viewers to view. We ask for Allah's forgiveness. We pray that Allah helps us during this challenging time. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the doors of our masajid so that we can return to our normal lives and connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within our masajids. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.